from Butler High School. It's a Section 2 AAA swim meet between the Butler High School Golden Tornado and the Pine Richland Rams. Good evening. This is Ed Cody, and assisting me in the diving event as we get started here is former Butler High School and Clarion University diving star and now the diving coach here at Butler and at Knox High School, Ken Bedford. Ken, welcome.
Ed, thank you very much. Looking for a good meet today. We have two seniors, Paige Williams and Mike Milton. Hoping to see a good performance out of them.
And pretty close competition-wise between these two teams. The Butler boys 4-4 on the season. Pine Richland boys 6-4. The Butler girls 4-4, and the Pine Richland girls 4-6. So it's pretty evenly matched, but a number of outstanding swimmers, as we'll see throughout the course of this meet.
Absolutely. That's where Butler's lacking in numbers in boys. They have outstanding swimmers, is where it comes out.
And I'm sure you try to your programs. How at what age do you like to get these kids started in diving?
I like to start them as young as I can, because there's a fear factor in diving. So if you get them too old, they're smart enough to know that I could get hurt. When they're a little younger, you get them through that idea of getting hurt. So.
All right, for the girls, this is Rachel Wilson, Pine Richland High School.
Delaney's first.
Oh, okay.
She's doing a reverse dive pike.
That's Delaney Waterbeck.
That was good. That's a degree difficulty of 1.7. Everyone will do a required dive first and then 5 optional dives. So 6.0 is pretty good for that. A little bit far out. Toes were hanging over the end, which she did a good job of trying to stand up as best she could. The idea is to get as close to that board as about a foot away. You don't want to be too close because then it tends to get dangerous. She pushed out just a little bit, landed a hair short.
So important to be so straight when you hit the water.
Yeah, you want to definitely. The line is either if you're doing foot first or head first is straight up and down.
This is Paige.
This is Paige Williams.
Paige Williams. Who missed last year with a back injury.
Ooh. Pushed out a little bit, little loose in the stomach. That's why he had that big arch when she pulled through. She had broken her back in a car accident. We didn't know it until beginning of the season, and it took her out for the rest of the season.
She assisted me last year in the diving event. It's just a remarkable recovery for her to be back here and diving. And to have that, how hard was it for you to get her to be confident about diving again?
It was tricky because I had her help me out over the summer with the summer program I do, and she kept telling me she didn't think her back was strong enough. And then, it was building her self-esteem up to get back in, and then she did a little bit more, and then she's where we're at now. So.
302C, reverse, 1 somersault, tuck position.
Madison Alexander from Pine Richland.
Oh, nice jump. That was a great stand-up.
Strong finish.
Very, very. Went a hair long, but fantastic jump on that.
So we see everything put together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure as a diving coach you work in this first, then this, and then try to put the whole thing coordinated.
Yeah. It's real good to separate things out because people learn better by, first work on the stand-up, then we'll work on the jump, then we'll work on the entry. If you take each step one at a time, then they can put it all together. It makes it a lot easier.
So you have to be a psychologist yourself to build confidence in them, to get up there and do it, to try something that could be very difficult for them to do. Now we go to the boys. Butler has one diver, Michael Milton.
Yeah.
Is this Michael?
No.
This is Pine Richland's Briar Wentley.
I'm going to guess this is Daniel.
Stager?
I'm going to guess.
Okay, I have an order, but they're not going by the order that I have. Forget it.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at that. I think they just put them in the computer. They don't have to be in that order there.
Scores 5.0, 5.0, 4.5.
Little rough stand-up. Had to push that out a little bit. That's why the scores are a little lower.
5-0, 5-0, 4-5.
Yeah. And this is Mike Milton. Now, Mike was a swimmer. We had no boys that came out on the team, and Mike was a swimmer. And when we asked if someone would be willing to try it, he stepped up, and he had a fantastic year. Not one of his best, but
a rough landing, trying to straighten himself out.
Trying to get out of that, and he pulled his feet over.
301C, reverse dive, tuck position, 1.6.
Do you have to actually go out and recruit boys to come out?
Yeah.
I mean, people find it hard to understand a school Butler size, only one diver.
Well, it's funny because when I get boys that come out on the team, they don't even know we had a diving team. I'll get a junior that says, I never knew we had a diving team. So it's kind of hard when it's not, it's not a huge sport. But I'm hoping, usually after the Olympics, we have the Olympics this summer, I usually get a big turnout.
Briar Wentley from Pine.
That was a very nice dive. Hair short, but still jumped up real well.
Scores 5.5, 5.5, 6.0. Here we round number 2 with Delaney's next dive is a 104C front 2 somersault tuck position 2.2.
Back to the girls with Delaney Waterbeck, Butler.
This is Delaney's front double. This is where she's probably most powerful is these somersaults. She's a former gymnast. Nope. Checked that a little early. That's why it came up a little short. Still pretty good jump. Scores show it.
Scores 5.5, 6.0, 5.0.
5-5, 6-0, and 5-0. So when you're working in the off season or during the season, how much strength training are you doing? Equal amounts upper lower body, or a little bit more with the lower body?
So in diving, the best strength to have is the stomach, the back, and the shoulders. The legs will come just from diving,
just from doing the constant repetitiveness of the diving.
But how tight you have to be in your somersaults and in your outs, that stomach is so important.
6.0, 6.0, 5.5.
And the back is important because the repetitive hit in that water, it takes a beating after a while.
That was a 6-0, 6-0, and 5-5 for Rachel Wilson. What are we looking for here from Paige Williams?
Paige is doing a front double. We just look for a good out, good kick. Ooh, and she missed it. Just
now, when you say she missed it, in what regards?
So if you look at that, you look how long she went. She went further onto her chest than she was on her feet. So what you want is you want to stand up tall. You want to go straight in the water. And when she kicked late, and if you look, she kicked behind her, and that will pull her long. That will pull her further onto her chest.
Free position 1.9.
And sometimes nerves take over. It's hard to settle down.
Madison Alexander.
Very nice dive.
That looked pretty difficult to me.
Yeah. Front somersault, full twist. It's a little tricky dive to get out of.
Score 6.0, 6.0, 6.5.
Pretty good scores for that.
Ken, how much do you spend time looking at Division I swimmers and how they do their dives? And I don't know how much would that help film work.
It helps a lot because Division I kids, they're the top of the. I mean, next is the Olympics, but very nice dive.
That was Emily Smallwood. Looked very solid.
Very nice dive. Yes.
So you're mentioning this film work. Does it help when they're watching?
Absolutely. When you watch these college kids are at the top level that these kids want to be at, and watching their hurdle work and their jumps and just how strong and the dives that these kids are doing in college are unbelievable.
Outstanding score there for Smallwood. Back to the boys.
Very good jump. Now,
Stager.
If you look at his toes, you want to point your toes the whole way through. That is one thing that the judges look at is toe point. So anytime your feet aren't on the board, you want your foot pointed. So that's part of the form that they look for.
Michael Milton from Butler. What are we looking at here in his dive?
He's a front dive tuck. You just want to look at his stand-up. He has a tendency to lean, and that's more. It wasn't bad. It was good for him. It's more of his height. He has a hard time. Most divers are not.
He looks fairly tall.
Yeah, most divers are not 6'2", you know, but he does a very good job of trying to control his body with how tall he is. So
I would think there would be a strong correlation, divers, gymnasts.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky to retrain a gymnast because they're used to doing things certain ways, and in diving it's a little bit different. So it's rewiring their brain a little bit different from gymnastics to diving. But
Briar Wentling and just nearly went completely over.
Yeah. Dropped his head.
The body control was just.
He kicked out, dropped his head down, and rolled over. See, if that head's not up looking, it tends to continue to somersault.
2, 2, 3, D. Back 1 somersault, 1.5 twist, 2.3.
Now this type of dive is where Delaney's gymnastics background helped us out tremendously. Very nice dive.
Very difficult.
Real good. So, yeah, back somersault, 1.5 twist, degree of difficulty 2.3. And
wow. Outstanding score.
Absolutely shows.
7.0, 6.0, 7.0.
And it, you know, the harder the dive, the higher degree of difficulty. And then what they do is the judges take the total score of those three that they gave and then times it by the degree of difficulty. That's how you get the score for each dive.
Rachel Watson, Pine Richland.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was a great jump. She just didn't see the end and kicked out late.
Scores 4.5, 5.0.
4.5, 5.0, and 5.5.
Paige's next dive is a 5.
Paige Williams.
D. Back 1 somersault, 1.5 twist, 2.3.
Now, Paige is doing the same dive that Delaney did. Very nice dive.
She looked very tight going into the water. She got nice elevation. And Ken, it seems like if you don't get the elevation, you're not going to get your twist and
that's the whole
coordinate
trick.
Everything.
Nice
score, 7.7, 7.5.
Very nice. That was a solid dive for Paige. But the hardest thing is learning that diving board. You gotta give it time to launch you back up.
It's almost like you have to trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, very nice dive.
Well, she was real tight.
Very good jump.
Hands tight to her side.
Very good jump. She had a hair early kick, but that was a really nice front double.
That was Madison Alexander.
Maddie's next dive is a 104C forward 2 somersault.
No, that was Emily Smallwood.
Yeah. I think
6. She had 6.6.
6.6, 6.5, I think.
6.5. Yeah. This is Madison Alexander.
Nice dive. That is a fantastic jump on that.
Great form.
She did a good job of waiting on that board, letting it jump, and had a great kick out.
7, 6.5, and 7. Good. So it seems like Paige Williams has the best score so far.
Yeah, Paige is sitting with 121 points right now.
Tuck position 2.2.
I think this is Briar Wentling.
It might be. I can't.
We need numbers like
we do.
In other sports.
Very nice dive.
Finished strong.
Very. A little quick on the board, which you heard that little clang, which means he was a little quick on his throw. but he did a good job of getting it moving fine in the end.
5.5, 4.5, and a 5.5.
And that's more because he didn't have the same jump as Maddie did before him.
Here's Michael Milton of Butler.
Michael with the front 1.5. Like I said, Michael was a swimmer that decided to try to do this, and he is. It's not an easy sport. It's not easy just to jump in and do.
It seems like the last thing for him, his legs are so long. Getting those legs together and straighten them out, as you said, the toes pointed.
Yep, it's a long way from the brain to the feet for him, so it's kind of hard for him to get out.
Daniel Steger, Pine Richland.
Now you see there, he lost the leg. He did a great job of continuing the somersault when the one hand slipped off the leg. That's why that tuck came apart. Yeah. He did a great job of staying with it.
5.5, 5.5, and 6.0.
Starting off round number 4, Delaney with a 5.132D.
This is round 4 coming up.
Yes.
Delaney Waterbeck of Butler.
She did a real good job there. She got a little lost, so you see her coming around the corner, and that's why she left it short. She got a little lost in her twist because that's a hard – you got to do 1.5 somersaults with one full twist. It's kind of hard.
She didn't have enough room there to completely straighten out.
Yeah.
Is that the initial elevation that hurt?
It's more she's rushing it.
Okay. So. She had a 5.5, 5.0, 5.0.
Yeah, she's more taking a little quick because she's so worried about ducking that over, so she's taking a little fast. She just needs to take her time a little bit.
Rachel Watson of Pine Richland.
Oh, very nice back.
Very smooth, very tight.
Scores should reflect on that, as they did.
7, 6.5, and 7. Paige Williams of Butler.
This is probably Paige's hardest dive. Not bad. She did not throw that hard enough. Not enough somersault on it. That's why it kind of landed short. She needed to initiate the somersault a little bit harder before she initiated the twist.
She had 6.5, 6.0, and 6.5.
Pretty good scores for that dive.
With a 202A, back 1 somersault, straight position 1.7.
Emily Smallwood, Pine Richland.
Oh, very nice stuff. It's very hard to stay that straight. If you notice, the back's flat, the hips are tight.
6.5, 6.5, and 6.0. Yes, I noticed that.
Very hard to do that on there. A lot of kids want to put an arch in their back when they throw back somersault straight, so that's very nice to see a nice, tight, straight position.
Seems to me, kid, if you get the elevation initially, that just sets everything up for you.
You get a nice jump, a nice stand-up, then it's just a good recipe for success.
Madison Alexander, Pine Richland.
Inward 1.5 somersaults tuck. That is a great jump on that. If you notice, she did crow hop a tad, which means her feet left the board before.
I didn't. You would notice it. I didn't notice it.
Well, yeah.
And she had a nice score, 7.5, 7.0, and 7.5.
Very hard to see a crow hop from the side.
But so the crow hop detracts from the score?
It's supposed to, but like I said, the judges have a hard time seeing it from the side. You can definitely see it from behind where we're sitting. So
back to the boys. It was 4th round. Briar Wentley.
I'm not sure what that dive was supposed to be.
Just came together almost like a cannonball.
Yeah. It matters if it was a. Yeah, that should be a failed dive. Yeah.
They're not putting a score up for this?
Yeah, it's a failed dive. He didn't get enough rotation. His feet hit before his hands hit.
So that's a violation.
It is. It's not. He didn't
Disqualify.
complete the dive. It's just that dive. It's a failed dive. Now in diving, you can't fail more than 2. If you fail more than 2, then well, if you fail 2 dives, you're disqualified from the event.
Milton of Butler.
There you go. Good jump. Mike has a hard time standing up a little bit, so everything falls back.
So do you want to shoot out on that jump,
no,
or you want to
go
higher?
more up? You have a better chance of cleaning the dive up when you jump up. Him leaning back like that takes his height out a bit. But
3.5, 3.0, and 2.0. Daniel Steger, Pine Richland High School.
So back dive straight. He ended up reaching his arms too short. You need to get your arms up over your head to get that jump.
4.0, 3.0, 3.0.
And he ended up leaving it short.
So as we come into this 5th round, when they're on the board, what do you tell them they should be thinking about or focusing on?
But each dive is different. Like Delaney's doing inward dive pike. I just don't want her to rush her. She ends up throwing it a little too hard and ends up speeding the dive up a little too much. So I just want her to slow it down and pop her hips straight up.
So at some point, quit thinking and just do it.
Yes. Like I tell my kids all the time, diving's more of a reaction sport than it is a thinking sport. There's not enough time to react or to think. That's very good. She did
strong
a good job
there.
Yeah.
Delaney Waterbeck. That's funny because his coaches often say, just go out there and play. Then when you make a mistake, they go, what were you thinking about? You can't win with coaches.
Yeah. No, never.
Rachel Watson, Pine Richland.
Nice little inward 1.5. She fell back a little bit, which makes it hard to fully jump up. She popped her hips straight back.
5.0, 4.0, 5.5. Paige Williams of Butler, her 5th dive. What are we looking for here, Ken?
Well, this is a back 1.5. This is one of her best dives, but she needs to find it. She's been having a tendency of leaving it short or going long. So this has been a little rough for the past week. Little short, much better than she did.
Just carrying those legs up a little bit more towards the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, she
nice score, 6.5, 6.5, 7.0.
Yeah, we'll take them. But yeah, she's been having a tendency of leaving it short, and then she overcompensates and leaves it long. So,
Emily Smallwood of Pine Richland.
Oh, very nice jump. Back somersault 1.5 twist. Took it a little fast, which then
3.60s. The fact that her arms were a little bit from her side hurt her score.
She was trying to slow it down because it was a little fast, and we call putting the brakes on.
Well, so much to think about.
Oh, absolutely.
Madison Alexander, Pine Richland.
Back to somersaults. Very hard dive to control. She did a really good job of it.
Score 6.5, 6.0.
6.5, 6.0, 6.5. That looked extremely difficult.
Yeah, that's a hard dive to slow down because you're doing 2 somersaults backwards. It's a blind dive. You can't see where you're going. She did a really good job of stopping it.
Okay, the boys, their 5th dive. Briar Wentling, excuse me.
Oh, nice dive. Back dive straight. Fell back just a tad, but he did a really good job. You notice his toe point on there was really nice.
3 6.0s. Michael Milton for Butler.
One of his favorite dives, the inward dive. And as you see why it's one of his favorite. He's worked on that a lot. That's he's really come along with that dive.
This is 4.5, 5.0, and 3.5. I believe that's his best score.
That is, yeah.
Now, you have a swimmer diver comes up to you and says, Coach, I don't know if I could do this dive. What do you do at that point?
Well, it's just all positive motivation. You just got to convince them that they can. I always tell my kids I'm never going to make them do a dive I don't believe that they can't do. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes the kid a little longer.
Daniel Steger, Pine.
Front flip half twist, a little fast on the somersault, and that's why he went a little long.
Scores 4.5,
4.5, 4.5, and 3.5. So we see all these different dives. How many actual dives are there that
that can be done?
That could be done.
Oh, there's a lot. There, I mean, I don't have a sheet with me. I could show you. There's on the diving sheet. There's a list of every dive that you can do, and I mean, obviously, Twister has the most. I have a problem at the scoring table.
When we see here they're diving, and it's the lower board. When you see,
can you give me 1 second? They need
yes.
at the scoring board.
So some difficulty in the scoring. So we're going to lose Ken Bedford as he goes down to help with this problem in the scoring.
Okay, here we go. Delaney leading off round number 6 tonight.
All right, come up to round 6, and Ken is back. Tell us what the problem was. Ken?
Technology is the problem, because it never works out for you.
That's a problem for me all the time.
Yeah, we got it fixed.
Delaney Waterbeck of Butler.
Back dive, Pike. Very nice dive.
The score isn't going to be right up there. It got switched in the computer somehow. So we'll have it right on the screen.
7.5, 6.5, and 7 for Delaney.
Yeah, his score was right.
One twist, free position, 1.9.
Rachel Watson of Pine Richland.
Back somersault
That
flip was
looks
very nice.
Looks strong.
Very nice. That's becoming a
7.6, 6.5.
It's becoming a more popular dive. You get these gymnasts they're so used to doing those dives because they come around on floor and land that way. So it's a lot easier for them to do those.
I was saying before we had the tech problem, how much courage it takes to do this here. Then you watch the Olympics and see and they're going off the high.
Yeah.
How high up is that?
Well, the highest is platform 10 meters. It's 33 feet. There you go, Paige. Little short, a little quick off the board, but
still solid form.
Absolutely.
She had.
Yep. Finished strong.
6'5", 7, and 6'5" for Paige Williams.
Very solid. Yeah, it's 10 meter diving is the highest that they go. Well, they do that Red Bull.
So you have to overcome
diving.
fear factor of heights in order to. Looks pretty high to me.
I really enjoyed diving platform because of the
Did you
fear.
go off the high dives?
I never competed, but I learned how to platform dive.
Emily Smallwood, Pine Richland.
They were some stuff very nice. Very nice stand up, a little early on the kick.
Got nice elevation off the board.
Yeah.
6'5", 6'0", and 6'5". Madison Alexander of Pine Richland.
One somersault, 1.5 twist, free position, 2.3.
Good jump, a little quick off the board. That's why she ended up kind of sideways. Yeah, because she was a little quick off the board.
6'5", 6'0", 7. So how much did the judges take into consideration the difficulty of the dive?
It tends to sway. I mean, they're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. Difficulty isn't supposed to matter, but it does tend to sway people one way or the other.
Briar Wentley, Pine Richland.
Reverse somersault half twist.
No, there's no such thing as a simple dive, but do you say stick with the basics when you first teach them and
absolutely
perfect these before you can move on? You got a 4.5, a 4, and a 2 is such a big discrepancy on this scoring.
I'm just wondering because he didn't fully twist the whole way. I'm wondering if that 2 caught that. The other 2 might not have caught it. It's hard to see these things. They go pretty quick.
Michael Milton, the Butler.
Front somersault half twist.
Seems like it's hard for him to get the elevation that he needs.
It's all stand up. It's a whole lot to stand up there, and like I said, him being so tall is a little trick for us to get by, but he did a great job this year getting by it.
2.5, 3.0, 3.0 for Michael Milton, and now Daniel Steger of Pine Richland High School.
Rounding out the event. Arms coming up it's going to hurt him a little bit. And it did.
3.0, 3.0, 4.5.
More because his arms came up. 3.0, 3.0, 4.5.
So that completes the diving.
Absolutely.
Add all these up.
They'll take each score will be added up. All 3 judges' scores will be times by the degree of difficulty. Then they'll add each one of those together, and that's how you get the score. Paige Williams won with a 2:47.30. So, solid meet for everyone.
And who took second for the girls?
I believe Delaney did with a 1:09 or 2:09.
And it looked to me third would have been
2:08.
Rachel Watson.
Yeah, with a 2:08, I believe. But Maddie could have been in there somewhere. I did not catch her final score.
So we're going to have a little break here before we go to the
they'll warm up for about
first.
5 minutes. Ed?
Ken Bedford, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Former Butler star diver, Clarion University, and coaching your busy guy, both Knock and Butler High School divers.
Absolutely. It's my 20th year doing this. So I know I don't look that old, but, you know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It goes by. Thank you
does.
so much for your expertise.
Not long ago, this is what it meant to have TV everywhere. The idea of taking your favorite shows and movies with you everywhere was a dream. It was an impossibility. Not anymore. You're mobile. Now, so is your TV. TV Everywhere gives you access to the programs you love. And the best part, it's included free with your Armstrong subscription. Simply verify your Armstrong subscription on your favorite channel's app or watch on ArmstrongOneWire.com/TVE. Your content, your way, whenever you want it. Armstrong. Life made easy.
All right, back here at Butler High School's swimming pool, the diving events having been completed, and according to the scoring, the Paige Williams took first for the girls from Butler, and second was Butler's Delaney Waterbeck, and third looked like Rachel Watson of Pine Richland, and for the boys, I believe it was Briar Wentling of Pine Richland, Michael Milton of Butler, and Daniel Stager of Pine Richland. I'm joined now by Amy Bocci, star swimmer herself in her own right at Edinburgh University. She is the wife of Butler coach Dave Bocci, was an All-American swimmer at Edinburgh University. That's where they met. And Amy, you're also the indoor bocce coach at Knock High School. How'd that come about?
This was the first year that our school decided to get involved with Special Olympics, and I inquired about it mostly because of the name. I thought it would be cool, bocce coaching bocce, and I grew up playing bocce at my grandparents' and on actual court. So, and I thought it was a great opportunity to work with the Special Olympics kids and regular education kids. That's what makes it unique. It's a unified sport. So it's been a lot of fun.
And I grew up, and behind my house there was an alley, and on Sundays, after, like in the afternoons after the dinner, all the old-time Italians would come, and they'd have their wine and their Denobles, which I'm sure you don't permit, and it was an all-afternoon, and they would be in some horrendous arguments.
So this first event is the girls 200 medley relay. So each swimmer swims 2 laps of each stroke, backstroke, then breaststroke, then butterfly, and then finishing off with freestyle.
And breaststroke and butterfly, those were your events?
They were, yep, long time ago. So right now in the lead is Abby Griffith from Butler and Elisa Schoenbacher in second for Pine Richland.
Of course, Butler's Laura Gettler, she has committed to Duquesne University. And you tell me that Duquesne, 2 times Atlantic 10
champs, yes.
Champs. Sounds like she's going to a good program, and your husband David coached there.
He did when they had a men's team, yes. They dropped that I believe about 8 years ago, and that's how he got involved with Butler High School swimming. And Laura also qualified for the Olympic trial meet in the 200 breaststroke in June of this year coming up. And in the water right now is Ellie Weiss. And for Pine Richland, Mila Cribbs.
Seems like the swim team's been pretty solid this year. You had a pretty competitive swim meet with North Allegheny. Always like the barometer of where you are in your program.
Right, definitely. The boys lost a few very close swim meets by only a few points, mainly because we only have 9 boys, and each of those meets they were down 1 boy due to illness. So that really hurts. This is Savannah Holt finishing up for Butler with the freestyle. And their winning time is 1:52.01. And Pine Richland finish up with second with a 2:01.44.
This has been a strong event for the Butler girls all season.
Yes. Yeah, they're ranked up there pretty highly in WPIAL right now.
As always, I'm just amazed by the endurance that these swimmers have, how hard they work.
Definitely, and to have to swim potentially up to 4 events within an hour-and-a-half period during the swim meet takes a lot. So now this is the boys 200 medley relay. Swimming in lane 4 for Butler in the backstroke, starting off Sam Deemer.
Comes from a long line of swimmers.
Yes, Sam is
2 brothers last year, correct?
He's the 4th brother. Ryan swam at Ashland University after, and then his 2 brothers, Joey and Alex, are at Gannon University right now.
Event 2, the boys 200-yard medley relay.
And swimming in lane 2 for Butler is Bryce Dryden in the backstroke, and lane 3 for Pine Richland, Grant Lundgren. So I know for Butler at the Whippeal meet coming up at the end of the month, February 27th, 28th, this will be one of the relays for Butler that they're going to go for, the medley. Yeah.
How will they stack up against Upper St. Clair, Pine, and North Allegheny?
I think they're seated either around 6th or 8th right now. Gideon,
so you have to
Gettler
meet
is a
you have to
freshman.
meet a certain time.
You have to qualify for a certain time, yes. So Gideon Gettler is freshman, Laura Gettler's little brother, swimming the breaststroke for Butler in lane 4. In lane 3 for Pine Richland, Andrew Wenzel. And lane 2 for Butler, Michael Milton, who just finished diving.
This is the last home meet, and then next week in the neighborhood brawl
Valley.
with Seneca Valley.
Yes. So in lane 4, my son David just dove in for the butterfly.
He's having a strong year.
He is.
You should be proud of him.
Thank you.
Just a sophomore a junior this year.
He's a junior this year,
He's a junior this year.
Yeah.
But it's his 3rd year of swimming.
Yes.
He has no choice.
That's right. And Ben Borvendag just dove in for Butler. He, a couple weeks ago, broke the pool record in the 50 freestyle against Moon. And Luke Nelson just dove in for Butler in lane 2, and in lane 3 for Pine Richland is Shane Rupert.
I know next week at Seneca Valley they have 3 girls divers who've all committed to college, so they must be pretty strong in that event.
Definitely. Seneca Valley has an extremely strong team, both diving and swimming. They're doing fantastic.
All right, let's see what the final results here.
Final results, Butler with first place with a 141.95, and Butler second place with a 157.19. Pine Richland third with a 157.70.
So Butler took first
And second.
First and second.
Which will help with the diving points since we only had one diver. Okay, girls 200 freestyle. In lane 4 for Butler, Abby Griffith. Lane 2 for Butler, Allie Smith. Lane 6, Marley Fish for Butler. Pine Richland in lane 1, Anna Gasanovich. Lane 3, Aaliyah Dixon. And lane 5, Valerie Zazinski. I probably mispronounced that, I apologize.
This is just straight power.
This is
swimming.
8 laps. This reminds me of the 800 in track, where it's pretty much a long distance sprint.
I'm assuming that these swimmers, like a lot of long distance runners, their heart rate at rest must be phenomenal.
Absolutely, and they train for that. They do certain
Do you
sets.
check on those?
They
the coaches do.
Yeah, they'll do certain sets, and they have to take their heart rate after each rotation in the set.
I want to mention that Pine Richland's coach is Pete Berry.
And he swam at Seneca back in the day.
Oh. Always interesting from one area of school and they end up coaching at another area of school. Happens quite often.
Abby's got a pretty good lead here.
Look, very sizable lead. .158.60, that's her best time.
Yes. And it's hard when you're looking at these best times. Because a lot of times the swimmers will rest for the pit Christmas meet. And so that's in December. So of course their times are going to be pretty fast for that meet. And then during season, when you're training very hard, your times aren't going to be as fast as your best time until they rest for the pit meet, for the Whippeal meet at Pitt at the end of the month. So winning that with a time of 2:04.05, Abby Griffith, and second place for Pine Richland, Aaliyah Dixon.
So you say this event at Pitt, it's like
it's the Whippeal.
Whippeal.
Oh,
in
the
December.
mid-season, yes. Yeah, it's called the Pitt Christmas meet, and it's the mid-season meet. A lot of teams will rest to try to get pretty fast times.
And as you mentioned, the big one coming up, 27th, 28th, where they combine. You have individuals and then the most
in the relays
points, then up with the team championship
the team score,
also.
Correct.
And as you said, maybe you let our listeners, viewers know how difficult it is to get into trees that weekend that you said some of the parents sleep overnight.
They do. They sleep in tents outside in order to get placement of tickets so they can get good seats, and it does sell out.
All right, we're the boys, 200-yard freestyle.
Yes, in lane 4 for Butler, Tanner Wittmeyer. Lane 2, Tanner Frankenstein. And then for Pine Richland, lane 3, Will Lobacher. Lane 5, Shane Rupert. And lane 1, Brennan Kirkpatrick.
Will Lobacher, an outstanding time, Amy, a 1:48.93.
Yes, he's ranked pretty high in multiple events in the Whippeals. He's got a nice long stroke.
And I look at them swimming like this, and I'm wondering, when are they catching their breath?
Each stroke, pretty much. But this is how they train.
I imagine sometimes trying to catch your breath, you also get an unwanted gulp of water.
Sometimes. That happens sometimes. But these swimmers, they swim at least 2 hours every day after school. Most teams will lift and do dry land as well. And then many teams do morning practices for an hour, hour and a half in the morning as well.
Tremendous commitment that you have to make.
Definitely.
I know I probably asked you this before. How much do you talk to them about nutrition or their teenagers and tell them, just let them go?
We try to. Our son included. Teenagers.
Stay away from the sugar.
Yeah. But, it's hard.
Still important for them to get the carbs
oh, definitely.
in during
They're
the day.
burning so many calories with all those practices.
So how much do you try to, how many hours before a meet do you actually eat so you don't get sick?
I would say a couple hours. And then we'll sometimes have snacks if it's a long meet, like some of the U.S. meets that are all day. We'll have granola bars or fruit. Some
I
kind of
can
small
imagine
snacks.
after a meet like tonight, they're ready to eat.
Oh, definitely. So winning that for Pine Richland, Will Lobacher with a 1:53.64, and in second place for Butler, Tanner Wittmeyer with a 1:56.54. So next we have the 200 IM. That stands for individual medley. Each swimmer swims 2 laps. 2 laps butterfly, 2 laps backstroke, 2 laps breaststroke, and 2 laps freestyle.
How difficult is that?
It's difficult.
You better be a good athlete to do that.
Oh, definitely. Lane 4 is Laura Gettler. She is the defending champ at Whippeals in the 200 IM. And lane 2 for Butler, Eve Murhott, and lane 6, Annabelle Turner. For Pint Richland, we have lane 3, Mila Cribbs, lane 5, Megan Medjamoric, and lane 1, Zoe Farr.
Now, when they go to college, they want them to specialize more and say these are the 1 or 2 events we want you to compete in, not 4 or 5.
It depends on the team. Sometimes they're looking for someone to fill a void. Maybe they had a great breaststroker that graduated, so now they're looking for someone that's specifically good in breaststroke. Some colleges need someone that's well-rounded that can swim almost every event. So it just really depends what their needs are. Out in the lead is Laura Gettler for Butler.
Now, she's going to Duquesne, exactly. I've been on Duquesne's campus. I do not know whether...
So their pool is attached basically to the towers at the end of the football field.
Oh, then is it fairly new, pool?
No. I mean, they've revamped it a little bit.
And we know the trees pool's been there like forever.
It has, yes. But again, they've tried to update inside, new scoreboards, new starting blocks.
I'm just amazed when you tell me that parents will camp out overnight to make sure they can get in and see the event.
Yep, it's pretty crazy. The nice thing is they do stream it live on the internet now, so you can watch it on the web. So Laura Gettler out with the lead. And in second place is Mila Cribbs for Pine Richland.
Yeah, Laura with an outstanding, her best time at 2:05.08.
In this season.
Yeah. And what did she do last year in the Whitfield?
That's a good question. I think it was a 2:01. I could be, no, I think it was a 1:59.
Now, who's the girl she had the battle with? Was it the girl from Hempfield?
No, Zoe Skirball from Fox Chapel.
Fox Chapel,
yep.
Okay, right.
Yep. And those two went back and forth.
The whole way into the States?
Yes, exactly.
And she's only a sophomore.
Correct, yep.
She was a freshman last year?
That's right.
Amazing.
Yes. So it looks like Laura's going to finish first with a time of 2:06.48.
She's been pretty consistent in that time frame all season.
Yeah, she usually drops a lot of time at the Whippeal meet when she's rested. And they also wear those tech suits.
Right. So
that helps.
I was just going to ask you, when you get to the Whippeal, it's like turned up a notch. The adrenaline's running higher.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where you get all these record times.
Right. Lane 3 was second place, Mila Cribbs from Pine Richland with a 2:24.95. Yes,
I missed who was second.
Mila Cribbs.
Mila Cribbs was
Pine
second.
Richland. They train very hard all season, and they do what's called a taper or a rest. It depends on the swimmer and if they're going to be trying to place at states. So sometimes they'll only partly rest for the WPIO meet, just
like
enough to get qualified.
Before.
Usually a week to 2 weeks.
So you're saying they'll wear what would be the difference in the swimsuits?
They'll wear technical suits. They're much tighter. They have more buoyancy.
So they're not allowed to wear those during the season?
They are if they're trying to qualify. Usually the last couple meets, swimmers that haven't qualified for Whippeals will put on their tech suits. So next week at Seneca
I imagine
Valley,
those are expensive. They have to buy their own.
They are.
Okay, we're going to the boys. 200 IM.
So swimming in lane 4 for Butler is Sam Deemer. Lane 2, Giddy and Gettler. And for Pine Richland in lane 3, Trent Bakula. He's another one. He's in the top times for Whippeals for many events. This is one of them, so this should be a good race between him and Sam.
Yeah, their times are almost identical. 1:59,
right.
49 for Trent and 1:59.89 for Samuel.
And in lane 5, Matthew Carper for Pine Richland.
How fast these events move.
Oh, yeah. We're almost halfway through the meet already. This is very hard for me not to scream and cheer.
Do the swimmers actually hear what's being
They
hollered
do.
at them? They can?
They do. When a lot of times coaches for that breaststroke will do that hoop, really loud, the hoop, so they can hear them when they take their breath, try to keep their rhythm. So right now, Sam Deemer is out in the lead with Trent from Pine Richland in right behind.
So in other words, this looks pretty close to me.
It is pretty close. And Gideon Gettler for Butlers in third.
They're two strong swimmers there.
Very
This
strong.
is going to be an exciting
Yeah, they're both going to
finish.
be pretty high up in if they swim the 200 IM
Deemer
at
had a
Whitfields.
great strong turn.
And it looks like it's going to be Sam Deemer for Butler with a 2-minute and 25. And Trent Bakula 2:02.06 for Pine Richland. And Gideon Gettler for Butler coming in with third.
And he's a freshman, you
He
said.
is a freshman, yes. And much needed. He's a breaststroker, and we needed a breaststroker.
So does Butler have like a 7th, 8th grade or
They
junior?
do not. We
you know?
have basically our feeder program is the Butler YMCA. This year we only had a couple freshmen, so we're hoping to get some more next year because we only have 9 boys.
So you have a summer team that you work with?
They all
there's so
go
many
different
of them.
ways. Yes, there's Sebco, there's Penn Valley's probably the biggest one around here, the Butler Country Club, and then a lot of the swimmers swim year-round U.S. swim. So they compete all over, some in Ohio up at the Spire Institute, down at Pitt. So now our last event before the break, the 50 freestyle, girls 50 freestyle.
So if you want to be a swimmer, you're really not taking any time off.
Not really, no. Seems to be the trend with most sports now, though. If you want to be really good at it, you got to play it year-round.
So you see the best time here is with Delaney Ellen of Pine Richland,
Yes.
25.65.
And so for Butler, Savannah Holt in lane 4, lane 2, Katie Knights, lane 6, Celia Ray, for Pine Richland, lane 3, Delaney Allen, lane 5, Emma Rowe, and lane 1, Emerson Dixon.
And
This is a close race right here.
Savannah Holt with the
You got to
second
look
best
at the
time.
clock, or the, so it looks like Savannah Holt first for Butler with a 26.1, and lane 3, Delaney Allen from Pine Richland, 26.2. So you can see how close.
Wow,
the 50
Savannah
matches
right
are.
had her best
best
time,
time.
26.21 compared to her previous best of 26.29.
And for the boys coming up in lane 4, Ben Borvendag. For Butler, lane 2, Bryce Dryden. And for Pine Richland, lane 3, Justin Bogaz. Lane 5, Daniel Steger. And lane 1, Colton McGeary.
Borvendeg just an outstanding time at 21.50. And Bogaz of Pine Richland, 22.78.
Yes, that 21.50, as I said, broke the pool record a couple weeks ago.
As a reminder, right after the 50 freestyle, we'll be doing the chuck-a-duck, so get those arms all loosened up. Event number 8, the boys 50-yard freestyle.
Event 8 is 50-yard freestyle. I noticed one swimmer here does not have a cap on.
Yes, they do not have to.
Then you don't know what team they're from. Well, it's listed on it. I don't know
Right.
what team they're from.
But it does help for the aerodynamics in the pool to have your cap.
To have
Makes
a cap.
Yeah, absolutely. It holds all a hair in.
That's why you see a lot of the swimmers sometimes, for the boys, they shave their heads.
Right, if they're not wearing a cap. So Ben Borvendag finishes first with a 22.04. Second for Pine Richland, Justin Bogaz with a 23.78. And now we have a break.
All right, we have about, what, a 10-minute break?
10-minute break. And then coming up next will be the 100 butterfly.
All right, we will take a break, and we'll be back with the second half of the swim event between Butler and Pine Richland.
Armstrong.
Hi, my son just got home and he said that his friend's house has this glowing blue dome.
It's not really glowing. Zoom's enhanced Wi-Fi constantly monitors your network for suspicious activity.
Oh, so the dome blocks viruses and malware from my devices.
Actually, it's Zoom.
And my house will make those cool sounds?
Sure. Cool sound effects too. No extra charge.
Awesome.
Control, coverage, and security. Zoom. Internet made easy.
Intermission just about over, getting ready for the girls' 100-yard butterfly. Let's try to recap what happened in the first half of this meet. And in the diving, first, let me see where I have my diving information here. First for Butler was, for the girls, Paige Williams. Second, Delaney Waterbeck of Butler. And third was Rachel Watson of Pine Richland High School. And for the boys, first was Briar Wentling of Pine Richland. Second, Michael Milton of Butler. And Daniel Steger of Pine Richland was third. In the 200-yard girls medley relay, Butler took first with a time of 1:52. Pine was second. And then in the boys' 200-yard medley relay, Butler took first and second, Pine Richland third. In the girls' 200-yard freestyle, first by Abby Griffith of Butler. Second was Eliza Dixon of Pine Richland. In the boys' 200-yard freestyle, first was Will Lawbacker of Pine Richland. And second was Tanner Wittmeyer of Butler. Got that correct. And let's go on to the girls' 200-yard IM. First was Laura Gettler of Butler. And second, Mila Cribbs of Pine Richland. In the boys' 200-yard IM, first was Samuel Deemer of Butler in a very good close race. Second was Trent Bakula of Pine Richland. And third was Gideon Gettler of Butler, just a freshman. In the girls' 50-yard freestyle, first was Savannah Holt of Butler, and second was Delaney Allen of Pine Richland. In the boys' 50-yard freestyle, first was Benjamin Borvendeg of Butler, second Justin Bogut of Pine Richland. And that's it.
Now we're ready to start the girls' 100 butterfly. Swimming in lane 4 for Butler is Abby Griffith. Lane 2 for Butler, Ellie Weiss. And in lane 6, Katie Knights for Butler. In lane 3 for Pine Richland, Alyssa Schoenblocker. And lane 1, Anushka Rajeev. And lane 5, Mila Cribbs.
I'll let you handle those difficult names.
That was hard to pronounce.
And this looks like to be very, very competitive with Griffith 59.82 and Mila Cribbs 1 even 57 and
Alyssa Schoenblocker. Yep.
1
should be a very close race.
0.09. We are moving along here. Just the rapid events, how fast one follows the other. They get them ready.
Many swimmers don't get very much rest in between each event.
Here we go, second half. Ed Cody along with Amy Bocci. Butler in the gold caps and the Pine Richland Rams in their traditional green with the ram horn.
So right now, Abby Griffith has the early lead in lane 4 for Butler. And it's pretty close for second place between Ellie and Elisa.
Is that Elisa in first place?
Abby Griffith from Butler,
Abby Griffith.
lane 4, yes. This looks like this should be a pretty good time for Abby.
Very strong.
Very good. 59.44.
Her best time.
It is her best time this season, yes. And second place for Pine Richland, lane 3, Elisa Schoenblacher.
Very strong for Abby Griffith.
That's a very good in-season time. So coming up next, the boys 100 butterfly. In lane 4, David Bocci. And lane 2, Tanner Frankenstein for Butler. Swimming for Pine Richland in lane 3, Justin Bogas. Lane 5, Grant Lundgren. And lane 1, Andrew Wenzel.
So this should be a real good battle between David and Justin.
Justin, looks like their seed times are pretty close.
David with a 52.42 is best time. And Justin Bogas with 54.62. And you would like to stand up and cheer, but you can't.
It's going to be hard. David recently just changed events. He used to do the 200 IM, but this year he's been focusing on the 100 butterfly, so I think he probably swim this at
What
Whitfield.
necessitated that change?
He just really started working on butterfly this summer, really liked it. His best event's really the 200 butterfly, but that's not a high school event. That's a U.S. event.
What's the toughest event to
to swim?
Be accomplished?
I believe the 200 butterfly. Just that's 8 laps of butterfly. It's the most difficult stroke. Some would say the 500, 20 laps as far as a high school.
The endurance factor there is
right.
tremendous.
Right.
A little bit of a delay.
Sometimes there's a discrepancy with scoring with the judges.
Now we're set, ready to go. Boys at 100-yard butterfly.
So see the red line in the lane line. You see it about midway down the pool on the lane line. That is called the Ryan Lochte roll. Ryan Lochte was so good with his underwaters. He could swim the entire length and just come up for one stroke and do a turn and swim the entire length underwater again. So they made a rule that you have to surface by that red line.
He didn't have human lungs. He had to be part whale or seal to do that.
Must have been. So right now, David Bocci out. Pretty good lead.
Really in a strong lead.
Tanner
and so if you don't do
well.
that, what, you get penalized for it?
Yes, you get disqualified.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm amazed how the swimmers are aware of that.
Yeah. David Bocci, first place.
Strong finish.
The 53.49, and second, Justin Bogas for Pine Richland with a 57.29.
Strong from beginning to the end for David Bocci. Just controlled the event from the get-go.
Okay, next event is the girls' 100-yard freestyle, 4 laps of freestyle. In lane 4 for Butler, Savannah Holt. Lane 2 for Butler, Allie Smith. And lane 6, Grace Lamberto. Swimming for Pine Richland in lane 3, Delaney Allen. Lane 5, Aaliyah Dixon. And lane 1, Emma Rowe.
So we see Delaney Allen with a time of 56 even, and Savannah Holt 57.68, and Aaliyah Dixon 57.66.
Right, according to their seed times, that should be a pretty close race. Pretty close race right now.
Boy, we see 3 of them stroke for stroke.
Lane 3, Delaney Allen has a slight lead going into the turn.
So Delaney Ellen with the lead.
Yes, looks like Savannah Holt is catching up.
She is.
She can kick it in gear.
Just not going to catch
Nope.
it.
Delaney from Pine Richland, first place, 57.78, and Savannah Holt second for Butler, 58.24.
Well, if you get off to a rather slow start or not a good entry, it's almost impossible to make it up.
It is. The starts on these sprints are definitely very important. Okay, next event is the boys 100-yard freestyle in lane 4 for Butler Ben Borgund, lane 2 Tanner Wittmeyer, and lane 6 Luke Nelson. And swimming for Pine Richland in lane 3 Will Lobacher, lane 5 Shane Rupert, and lane 1 Amvitava Powell.
Boy, look at Borgund's time, Amy, 48:44, and then Lawbacher at 50:38.
Yes, this should be a good race too.
Now, is Benjamin a senior?
Ben is only a sophomore.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic.
He's going to draw a lot of interest as well as your son will next year.
Yeah, so it's important to get a very quick start off the blocks on these sprint events.
And Benjamin.
Ben out with a strong lead.
Very strong. Now he's really taking command on that turn.
Yes, that was a great turn.
You mentioned how good Duquesne's program is. They don't hear too much about Pitt's swim program. Not very good?
I'm not really sure. I haven't followed them, to be honest. I follow mostly Duquesne, mainly because we're very good friends with the coach.
Well, what a just
so amazing.
Dominated by Benjamin.
58-35, Ben Borgund. And in second place, Will Lobacher with a 52.86. And in third, it looks like Tanner Wittmeyer from Butler with a 54.03.
So a 2-second difference between first and second, if you look at it, say, well, 2 seconds, but that's pretty huge.
It's pretty huge in a sprint. It is.
I'm
All right,
impressed,
now
Benjamin.
We have the distance event, the 500, the dreaded 20 laps.
20 laps.
So they have counters at the end of the pool, so you know your place, how far you have swam so far. So in lane 4, we have a freshman, Annabelle Turner. She has dropped over 20 seconds in this event this season.
Amazing.
So this has become her favorite. Lane 2, Morgan Castile. Lane 6, Marley Fish. For Pine Richland in lane 3, we have Valerie Bazinski. Lane 5, Megan Medjamorek. And in lane 1, Brianna Franchek.
500-yard freestyle. I don't think I walked that far to get here when I parked my car. 20 laps.
Definitely an endurance
And
event.
they're doing this every day just to get ready.
Oh,
They're
yes.
doing more than 20, right?
Oh, yeah. They typical practices are anywhere between 4,000 to 7,000 yards.
4,000 to 7,000
yes.
yards.
And depending if you're a sprinter or if you're more distance.
So we're talking about 60 laps, roughly?
Oh, no, way more than that. It's a lot. You have to love it. You have to love the sport.
So now how much do you start off? You say just you pace yourself because you don't want to burn out, right?
Well, usually they'll work on pacing sets in practice, either usually by 50s. So they'll do maybe 10 50s because that's what a 500 is made up of. And they want to hold a certain, 35 seconds or 38 seconds per 50, which is at 2 laps.
And I see they're putting the placards in there to let them know where they are.
So the coach, he can look up at the scoreboard, and every time from the touchpads, it'll tell them they're 50 split. Like she went a 33.89 that 50.
So they're allowed to holler the time into them?
They are. Like the coach will give them a hold it steady or pick it up. He'll, you know, swing his arm. He may do kick. You got to kick harder.
So in practice, David's doing exactly what he'll be doing here in the meet.
Yes.
Like, while they're doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So right now he's giving her the kick sign. So pick up your kick, because sometimes when you're tired, you tend to not kick as hard. You forget to kick. This seems crazy, but you do.
Have you ever done this much?
I have.
You have?
Yep. I had to do the 1,000 once in college. I think I cried the whole
1,000?
time. Yeah. They do, yeah. In the college, they do the 1,000 and the 500 in the same meet.
I think I tried that once in a canoe on the Clarion River. Had no way I could swim that event.
They also do a 400 IM, which is a 100, 4 laps of every event, or every stroke.
1,000, it just...
Yeah, yep.
How... there has to be some time, Amy, that someone gets a cramp doing
yeah,
this. What do you just got to swim through it?
Yeah, I've seen it happen every once in a while. So, and as they're dunking those numbers in, if they're dunking up and down really fast, that they're kind of giving a code to the swimmer. They need to pick it up a little bit. So Annabelle Turner right now, the freshman from Butler, is way out in the lead.
So we're just almost halfway through.
Correct.
Coming up with the 10th lap now. Oh, I see the difference there, 11, 9. Oh.
So what they'll do then, the officials, when they have a lap, almost 2 laps left, they'll blow the whistle, whoever's in the lead, so they know that this is their last
2.
50, yep, last lap, last 2 laps. So Annabelle Turner still controlling the lead.
Just this much swimming, and just imagine the stress on the shoulders and even your neck. So you better be pretty strong in those areas.
Definitely. That's where your training comes in.
So when you talk about weight training to get ready for this, you're talking about light weights with high reps?
It depends on the swimmer. I think the guys do more heavier lifting. They do a lot of dry land, a lot of medicine ball, sit-ups, push-ups.
I know, I think I mentioned this to you last year, that my high school football teammate, Tom McGrath, was an outstanding swimmer also. 6'3", 215 pounds,
wow.
And he did both.
That's
football
amazing.
And swimming. Yes.
Well, you know, swimming used to be a sport for any size, but just like every other sport now, you're seeing your top swimmers are enormous people. You know, very tall, very strong, very muscular.
I was telling Ken how just fascinated with the Olympic high diving, that the courage it takes to do that, the mental attitude that you have to get up there that high. What's it, 10 meters?
10 meters, well, that's the platform, yeah, that's the highest. So Annabelle should be getting the whistle here, coming up. This will be her last 2 laps.
3 through 17. Oh, no. There's the whistle.
So Annabelle is in the lead, and this is our last 2 laps.
So red means what, your last one?
Yes.
Now, how many of these girls will come back and swim in another event?
Oh, pretty much all of them, at least a relay. So it looks like Annabelle Turner, the freshman from Butler, is going to touch first with a 5:46.30. So pretty close to her best time.
Yes, a 5:43.
And in second for Pine Richland in lane 5, Megan Medjamoric.
You are really good with these names tonight.
I hope so. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing them correct. We still have a few swimmers finishing
to
up.
finish. Anyone who can do this from beginning to the end and finish gets my admiration.
That's right. It's pretty impressive. So coming up next, we have the boys 500. Swimming in lane 4 for Butler, David Bocci, and lane 2, Michael Milton. Lane 3 for Pine Richland, Trent Bakula, and lane 5, Brennan Kirkpatrick. And lane 1 for Pine Richland, Alex Yearling.
And for David Bocci, it's a strong event for him, 4:46.04.
Yeah, this he's placed in the top 5 at Whippy Oles the past 2 years in this event. So this is one of his better events.
Trent Bakula from Pine Richland, 4:53.64, his best in season.
So I would think this should be a pretty close race as well.
This is where your grocery bill goes up.
Yes.
Competing in this event. It's amazing when you're a teenager and an athlete, you can eat just about anything you want and not worry about an ounce.
That's true. Unfortunately, when you're done with your sport, you're done swimming, you have to be careful.
Right.
Can't eat the same way.
Those days are long gone.
That's right.
Late at night, you'd have 2 or 3 chili dogs and French fries and a couple, and go home and sleep
Right.
like a baby. Forget that. Not going to happen anymore.
So right now, very close race. This is a very hard event to be this close with somebody the whole time.
And these two will see one another at trees at the end of the month.
Yep.
But you know they know about one another, and so this is going to be really competitive, and they're just
they
almost
keep track.
neck to neck. David Bocci with a slight lead. Trent Bakula, Pine Richland. Lane 3, Bocci in lane 4.
You got to be, every time you breathe, be watching the person right next to you. That's difficult.
And I guess the big thing, as you would know since you've done this, is fighting through that fatigue when it hits you at some point, right?
That's right, yep.
Oh, they're really close.
Yes, they are.
I don't think these two are going to let up at all.
They're definitely pushing each other right now.
Now, when you're in a pool, they're next to one another, they have an idea of how close they are to each other. Did you see David Bocci just a slight little more
He's
room?
Definitely a back half swimmer. He gets stronger and faster as the event goes on. So sometimes that's good. He can tire out his opponent.
Like those sprinters do in the 3,200 meter run. They just get stronger towards the end.
Right.
Shouldn't say sprinter. I should say distance.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Not sprint.
Yeah.
You don't sprint.
Distance, yeah.
David Bocci in lane 4, just increasing his lead slightly.
Trent's coming back. Here he comes back.
Long way to go.
Yep.
Long way to go.
That's right. We're only halfway over.
Now, can you tell when you look in if you see their form is different than maybe fatigue and they're struggling?
Yeah, and you can look at their 50 split times too.
pretty
It's
much.
going to be a good one. I think this is going to
it's
come
pretty
down
much
to the
even.
end. Yep,
Right.
definitely.
Coming into lap
So
15.
now coach is giving them the pour it on sign, the kick sign.
A great kick and turn by David Bocci.
So this is where his second half.
You said this is his strong suit.
Yes, he's not particularly fond of this event, but he's good at the finish of the race.
He's good at doing it, and he's increased his lead there. And it just looks like Bakula is just struggling a little bit here.
Yeah.
Towards the end, he's just slowed down.
That happens, when you try to keep up. Sometimes they tire out. But he's going to do very well at whip wheels.
And you see that David's strokes are just still long and strong. I think when you shorten up, it's an indication that you're
getting tired. Yes, definitely.
See a little bit that from Trent.
Wow, this is a good in-season time for him.
Very strong.
Wow, 4:46.57. And in second, Trent with a 4:53.76, pretty much how they were seated.
So almost, that's not David's best time.
No.
No, the 4:46.04.
Right.
Very strong race for him. Dominated it. It was close and then we got around that 15-16, and they just started to open it up.
Okay, finishing third for Pine Richland in lane 5, Brendan Kirkpatrick. So while we're finishing up the 500, our next event, we have 2 relays coming up. The 200 freestyle relay, which each swimmer swims a 52 laps. And then at the end of the meet, we have the 400 free relay, where each swimmer swims a 100. They swim 4 laps.
And finishing up here for Butler in the 500 is Michael Milton, who's Butler's diver.
So that's pretty impressive to be able to dive and do the 500.
Do this, finish.
Yep. Okay, so in lane 4 for Butler, we have Allie Smith, Katie Knights, Eve Murhott, and Marley Fish. And in lane 2, Morgan Castile, Celia Ray, Grace Lamberto, and Kendall McClister. For Pine Richland in lane 3, we have Valerie Bazinski, Anna Kasanovich, Megan Medjamoric, and Emerson Dixon. And in lane 5, Zoe Farr, Brianna Franchek, Anushka Rajeev, and Emma Rowe.
And Kendall McClister showing off her multiple talents. She did the honors by singing the national anthem tonight and did a fantastic job. 200-yard freestyle relay. Amy, you've watched the North Allegheny swim team over the years. The girls have won, I think, 11 straight WPL championship. What makes them so good? Is it the depth? Is it just?
I think the culture of their sports programs. They have great feeder programs and just a lot of support from the community. And to be honest, a lot of people move into the district.
They have won more
sports.
district and state championships than any other school in Pennsylvania, which is amazing.
Yep. So right now, Pine Richland in lane 3 are out to an early lead. Megan diving in right now. And Eve Murhott diving in for Butler.
Now, who's watching to see that, you know, that they're not diving in till the touch is made?
The PIAA officials. They watch their takeoffs from the block to make sure the other swimmer coming in has to have their hand on the wall before any part of their body, or before their last part of their body, I should say, leaves the block.
The violations occur very often?
Oh, yeah. False starts, they call them. Or early leaves, if they left too early. Okay, so it looks like Pine Richland's going to finish first with a time of 1:40.56, and Butler in second with a time of 1:55.34. All right, coming up next are the boys' 200-yard freestyle relay. Swimming for Butler in lane 4, Tanner Wittmeyer, Gideon Gettler, Michael Milton, and Tanner Frankenstein. In lane 3 for Pine Richland, Will Lobacher, Trent Bakula, Matthew Carper, and Justin Bogut. And those are their 4 strongest boy swimmers. In lane 5 for Pine Richland, Daniel Steger, Andrew Wenzel, Grant Lundgren, and Shane Rupert.
So you're allowed to compete in how many events? Up to 4?
4. Yes, you can either do 3 relays and 1 individual, or you can do 2 individual and 2 relays.
So you see Michael Milton here again competing. This is in his 3rd event. I think David's in 3 or 4, is he?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have
and Deemer is in?
Yes, all of our boys we have to have in 4 events because we only have 9. So as you can see, we don't even have enough for 2 relays here, whereas Pine Richland does. So that's going to hurt us on points.
I see that.
Come on, go, go!
Competing in 4 events, you're really burning up
you are.
a
You're
load
tired.
of calories.
Yeah. Whereas teams like North Allegheny, Seneca Valley, they can spread out their boys because they have such a large number.
I
So
mean,
right
I can
now,
imagine
Pine
how
Richland in
they
the
feel, and you don't understand, having played like college football on a Saturday afternoon and that evening, it's almost felt like you had a fever going. Your body was just burning up on. So I know you've experienced that. And I'm
yeah,
sure
you're
these
pretty
swimmers,
tired by the end, that's for sure. So right now, Pine Richland in the lead. Michael Milton in the water for Butler right now.
You say Matthew Carper's strong swimmer for
Pine Richland, yeah, in the breaststroke, I think that's his best event. Okay. And Tanner Frankenstein in the water for Butler right now, but Pine Richland has a pretty sizable lead. So it looks like to me Pine Richland in first with a 136.31 and Butler second with a 139.91. Next we have the girls 100-yard backstroke, 4 laps of backstroke. In lane 4 for Butler, Ellie Weiss. Lane 2, Morgan Castile. Lane 6, Autumn Birch. And for Pine Richland, in lane 3, Alyssa Schoenbacher. Lane 5, Emerson Dixon. In lane 1, Anushka Rajeev.
So Alyssa Schoenbacher with the outstanding time of 1:43, and Ellie
1
Weiss
minute
of
flat,
Butler
yeah, minute flat.
1:05.43. This, to me, seems like it'd be a very difficult event to master.
You definitely have to have good body position with your head back so your hips are up in the water and not, otherwise you're dragging your lower part of your body through the water.
So the great abdominal strength that you have to have, that core strength that's so important for this event.
Definitely. And you got to be good at swimming without really looking, because you're backwards and upside down, basically. So you can kind of use the ceiling and the lights as a guide, and that these are the backstroke flags, these triangular flags hanging at the end of the pool so they can count their strokes. So she'll count 1, 2, 3, and then she knows to flip. So where she is relative to the wall. So Ellie Weiss had the lead, but it looks like Elisa is, for Pine Richland, is taking over. And it will be Elisa with a 104.23, and Ellie Weiss from Butler with second with a 104.56. Good race.
Good competitive race there.
Next, we have the boys' 100-yard backstroke. Swimming for Butler in lane 4, Sam Deemer. In lane 2, Bryce Dryden. He's our freshman. And swimming for Pine Richland in lane 3, Grant Lundgren. Lane 5, Alex Yearling. And lane 1, Colton McGeary. Sam Deemer placed pretty high up at the state meet last year in this 100 backstroke.
Yeah, outstanding time of 53.17.
Event 20 boys 100-yard backstroke.
So the scores are pretty close at team scores.
It's very close for
Pine
both,
Richland
yes.
boys up 70 to 67, and the Butler girls up 72 to 68.
So right now, Sam Deemer out in the lead for Butler. And close
Deemer.
race between Bryce and Grant. Bryce from Butler and Grant from Pine Richland in lanes 3 and 2.
And Deemer in 4.
Correct. Deemer has a pretty sizable lead.
Boy, he looks effortless in his stroke.
He does.
Nice and
He's got a
smooth and
beautiful
easy,
stroke.
long arms. I'm still amazed what you said about Ryan Lochte and how he stayed underwater for so long.
And Sam Deemer in first. He kind of just cruised that at the end, probably to save some energy for their last relay. And Bryce from Butler in second with a 103.20. And in third, Grant Lundgren from Pine Richland with a 104.71.
And Bryce Dryden is a freshman
this year, yes. So nice swim. And we are on to our last individual race of the night, the 100-yard breaststroke. In lane 4 for Butler, Laura Gettler. Lane 2, Eve Murhott. And in lane 6, Autumn Birch. And for Pine Richland in lane 3, Anna Kastanovich. Lane 5, Zoe Farr. And lane 1, Fiona Cortagna.
And Laura Gettler with a 104.95 in season time. And this was your event at Edinburgh.
The 200.
Oh, the 200.
Yeah, I wasn't as good at the 100. 200 is the 8 laps. You kind of can get in a groove. You don't have to be quite the sprinter. Laura was the state champ last year in the 100 breaststroke with a 101.13. Just touched out the Zoe Skirball from Fox Chapel.
Fox Chapel
in this event, yes.
So they're going to lock heads again in 2 weeks, and then at Trees, and then at Bucknell for this PIAA.
Correct.
Very big lead.
Laura Gettler way out in the lead. And looks like Eve Murhott from Butler and Autumn Birch in second and third right now.
Well, you have to have a strong lower back and a core to compete in this.
Strong legs.
And legs?
Oh, yeah. Strong kick.
So this would be Laura's best event going into
Yes.
college?
No, actually her 200 breaststroke is her best event. So Laura finishes easily with a 106.68. Looks like Butler might sweep this event. In second for Butler, Eve Murhott with a 118, and in third, Autumn Birch for Butler with a 119.40. That'll help with the score.
Butler sweeps. That puts Butler up 80-76 over the Pine Richland girls. And the boys, wow, Butler up 77-76.
So the last individual event, boys 100-yard breaststroke in lane 4, Gideon Gettler, lane 2, Luke Nelson, and 4, Pine Richland, in lane 3, Matthew Carper, and in lane 5, Amitva Powell. I know Gideon's been really trying to qualify for Whippeals in this event. He's been pretty close.
That's asking a lot, and he's a freshman too.
Correct. This meet is definitely coming down to the end as far as scores.
Matthew Carper with the best time in season 102.29 for Pine Richland.
Very close race right now between Gideon from Butler and Matthew from Pine Richland. Gideon just touching first.
What a bright future for Gideon Gettler, just a freshman.
Yep.
This is going to be very close.
It sure is.
Let's see the turns.
It's a good turn.
Gideon
This is the best
Gettler
I've
with the
seen
lead.
Gideon look.
Best you've seen him?
The best I've seen him look. He looks pretty good. Gideon Gettler first with a 106.31, and second Matt Harper with a 107.91. And Luke Nelson coming in here for third for Butler and fourth for Pine Richland and Amitva. So it looks like this may come down to the last relay.
Wow, look.
It's always exciting when it does.
Butler girls up 93-79. And we're waiting for change in the score. The Butler boys were up 77-76 going into this event. And so we're down the last two events, the girls 400-yard freestyle relay and the boys 400-yard freestyle relay.
So while we're waiting for the officials, in lane 4 for Butler, we have Abby Griffith, Savannah Holt, Laura Gettler, and Ellie Weiss. In lane 2 for Butler, Marley Fish, Annabelle Turner, Caitlin Knights, and Eve Murhott. And in lane 6 for Butler, Autumn Birch, Kendall McClister, Grace Lamberto, and Celia Ray. Swimming for Pine Richland in lane 3, Delaney Allen, Aaliyah Dixon, Alyssa Schoenblocker, Myla Cribbs. And in lane 5 for Pine Richland, Abby Lane, Emma Rowe, Zoe Ferrer, and Fiona Cortina.
This has been a very good and highly competitive swim meet.
It is. It's been close the whole time. It's always fun when swim meets come down to the last relay, the big freestyle relay.
Still waiting for them to post the score.
All right, here we go. Event 23, the girls 400
So each swimmer swims a 100 free, which is 4 laps. So they posted the score now for the boys.
And some of the, they posted the score now. The Butler boys up 86-80. And some of these girls were in the 500. So that's strong,
yep.
These two events.
So right now, Abby Griffith out with a lead for Butler. Next in the water for Butler, Savannah Holt. In the water, lane 3 for Pine Ridge and Aaliyah Dixon.
Now, do you save your strongest swimmer last, or it doesn't?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes you want the strongest swimmer first to get a commanding lead, or to get a pretty good lead, and that just builds the confidence for the rest of the team. They have to keep up that lead. Sometimes you wait and bring the hammer at the end. It just depends.
So you can go 1 and 4, but maybe you could go 1 and 3 and be so strong coming into the last part of the event.
True, but typically they do either the first or the fourth swimmer. Last swimmer is their strongest. Okay, next in the water, Laura Gettler for Butler, and in lane 3, Elisa Schoenblacher. So Butler still holding on to a slight lead.
You just watch Laura Gettler aiming, you see her strength and the efficiency of her strokes.
Yes, she is a strong swimmer.
Butler girls up 93-79.
They should
hit 100.
They should win this, yes. They should win this meet. Okay, next in the water for Butler, Ellie Weiss. So she's the anchor, she's the last swimmer.
And Savannah Holt and Ellie Weiss, what years are they?
Savannah Holt is a sophomore and Ellie's a senior.
So we're going to lose some real good senior girl swimmers.
Yes, we are. So it looks like Butler girls are going to finish in first with a time of 3:53.92. And Pine Richland second with a time of 4:02.79.
And the Butler girls will win this meet.
And the boys meet comes down to the last relay.
Butler boys leading 86-80 going into this last event, the boys 400-yard freestyle relay. So Pine Richland has a chance to pull it out. Should be very competitive.
Pine Richland has the faster seed time going into this, so this should be a pretty good race.
Waiting for the final girls score, but the Butler girls are going to improve their season record to 5-4 with one swim meet left next week at Seneca Valley.
Okay, so here we are with our last event, the boys 400-yard freestyle. In lane 4 for Butler, Ben Borgund, second swimmer David Bocci, Tanner Wittmeyer, and then Sam Deemer. For Pine Richland, in lane 3, Trent Bakula, Matthew Carper, Justin Bogut, and Will Lubacher. And in lane 5, Daniel Steger, Colton McGeary, Alex Yearling, and Brennan Kirkpatrick.
Butler with a strong group there with Benjamin Borgund and David Bocci and Deemer. And yet you say Pine has the
they have the faster seat time so far this season.
All right, there's the final there for the girls. The Butler girls 103, the Pine Richland girls 83.
Right now, Ben Borgund's taking the early lead for Butler.
Strong start.
And Trent Bakula for Pine Richland right behind.
Butler with a strong lead.
So Ben's going to touch the wall first, and David Bocci in the water. And for Pine Richland, Matthew Carper in the water.
Pretty commanding lead, I would think, for Butler.
It's looking pretty good.
Butler way out in front. Samuel Deemer getting ready. The finisher.
Oh, this is Tanner Wittmeyer.
Okay,
yeah, we still. So David
okay.
Bocci's still finishing up, and
all
then
right,
we have Tanner Wittmeyer.
I looked at it the wrong way.
So Tanner Wittmeyer in the water for Butler, and for Pine Richland, Justin Bogut is diving in.
Our last swim event of the evening. Butler boys coming into this last event leading 86-80. And with a commanding lead in this event.
And now Sam Deemer in the water. To finish off for Butler, and in lane 3 for Pine Richland, Will Lubacher.
Pine pulled ahead here?
No,
no, still.
No, they're still.
Okay, he's behind. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. It caught me off guard. I saw them so even.
Right. So Butler finishes first with 3:24.34, and Pine Richland behind with a 3:30.98.
And that's going to ice the swim meet for the Butler boys, and the Butler boys and girls will sweep here tonight. That improves the Butler boys' record to 7-4. And the Pine Richland boys, they dropped to 6-5. Just waiting for the final tally here. Amy, thank you very much. Working with you once again, always enjoyable with your expertise. You make my job so much easier.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'd like to thank
And also helping out with the diving, Ken Bedford. Appreciate his help. And there's the final there, the Butler boys 94 and the Pine Richland boys 86. Once again, the Butler girls 103, Pine Richland girls 83. Butler girls 5-4 in the season. Pine Richland girls dropped to 4-7. Butler boys 7-4. Pine Richland boys 6-5. One more meet next week for both of these teams, and then on to Trees Fieldhouse, swim pool, I should say, at Pitt for the WPL finals.
That's correct.
Amy, thank you. And for our executive producer, Carmen Bianco, I want to thank him and Butler for their hospitality. Athletic director Bill Milan, appreciate all his help that he affords us here for this event. Once again, Butler sweeps the meet here at Butler High School. This is Ed Cody wishing you a good night.
Okay, thank you.